Join me as I dive into the life of St. John Neumann and see if I can uncover just how his incredible legacy still impacts immigrants today. St. John Neumann, the first American bishop to be canonized, left an indelible mark on the lives of countless immigrants. Born in Germany in 1811, he immigrated to the United States, where he became a passionate advocate for the spiritual and educational needs of the rapidly growing immigrant populations. His tireless efforts to serve these communities earned him the nickname Saint of the Immigrants. In the 19th century, immigrants faced incredible challenges as they sought a better life in America. Many struggled to adapt due to language barriers, cultural differences, and economic hardships. Educational opportunities were scarce, and for those who were Catholic, finding schools that aligned with their values seemed almost impossible. The young and the old alike were often left without access to basic education, a situation that deeply concerned St. John Neumann. As cities swelled with immigrant populations, the need for social and educational institutions became increasingly pressing. The plight of these immigrants resonated deeply with Neumann, who envisioned a church that was not just a place of worship, but a beacon of hope and support. He understood that education was key to unlocking the potential of these communities, and he set out to change this reality. Through his vision and leadership, Neumann laid the groundwork for a systematic approach to education that would serve generations to come. St. John Neumann's initiatives were revolutionary for his time. He founded schools that catered specifically to immigrant communities, providing them with not just a place of learning, but also a sense of belonging. He believed that Catholic education should be accessible to all, regardless of background or social status. This commitment led to the establishment of parochial schools that would become a hallmark of the American Catholic landscape. Neumann's efforts didn't just stop at education. He also worked tirelessly to provide social services and support to those in need. One of the most significant moments in Neumann's life came when he became the Bishop of Philadelphia. He realized that the future of the Catholic Church in America depended on its ability to educate and integrate immigrant communities. With this in mind, he worked to establish the first diocesan school system in the United States. This visionary move not only provided educational opportunities, but also fostered a sense of unity and purpose among the diverse immigrant populations. By making education accessible, Neumann empowered countless individuals to build better lives for themselves and their families. The establishment of this school system was no easy feat. It required immense dedication, perseverance, and resources. Neumann faced opposition and skepticism from various quarters, but his conviction remained unwavering. He saw the inherent value in every individual, particularly those on the margins, and was determined to serve them. This pivotal moment in his life encapsulated his commitment to education in the immigrant community, setting a precedent that would influence Catholic education for centuries. St. John Neumann's legacy continues to inspire and impact immigrant education today. His vision for inclusive, value-based education resonates with communities around the world. As we reflect on his life and contributions, it becomes clear that his dedication to serving the most vulnerable has left a lasting impact. What if an immigrant, fleeing a life of hardship, became the unsung hero who shaped Catholic America? What if his journey across stormy seas, his battles against prejudice, and his quiet endurance of betrayal within his own church revealed a story of faith so powerful it resonates even today? Welcome to Unseen Saints, where faith meets true crime. This is the epic tale of St. John Neumann, a story that's real, brutal, and divine. Stay with me for the next 20 minutes as we uncover every chapter of his extraordinary life. Let's step back to 1811 in a small village called Prachatice in Bohemia, part of the Austrian Empire, now the Czech Republic. John Nepomuk Neumann was born on March 28th to a German-speaking family. His father Philip was a hosier, a modest trade, while his mother Agnes instilled in him a deep Catholic faith. Young John was bright, curious, and devout. By age 13, he was already assisting at Mass, a sign of his calling. I remember my own seminary days, where the quiet of the chapel felt like a call to something greater. And I see that same spark in Neumann's early life. But his path wasn't easy. He studied theology at the University of Prague, excelling in languages, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and later English and Gaelic. By 1835, at 24, he was ready to be ordained, eager to serve God. Yet his bishop turned him away. Bohemia had too many priests and too few parishes. Imagine the rejection, a young man's dream shattered. But Neumann didn't give up. He heard of a desperate need for priests in America, where Catholic immigrants were pouring in, and he saw his chance. In 1836, he boarded a rickety ship bound for New York. The Atlantic crossing was treacherous. Storms raged for weeks, waves crashing over the deck, and disease swept through the passengers. Many didn't survive, their bodies consigned to the sea. Neumann, frail and seasick, prayed through it all, clutching his rosary. This wasn't just travel. It was a trial by fire, a true crime of nature against human hope. When he landed in Manhattan on June 2nd, 1836, he had no money, no connections, just faith. America in the 1830s was a wild frontier for Catholics. Irish immigrants, fleeing the potato famine, arrived by the thousands, but the church was stretched thin. Only 30 priests served a scattered flock of 200,000 followers. Neumann joined the Redemptorist order, known for their missionary zeal, and was ordained in New York on June 25, 1836, the first Redemptorist priest in the USA. His mission? To walk the back roads from Buffalo to Maryland, celebrating Mass wherever he could. Barns, cabins, even open fields. He carried his vestments in a sack, slept on straw, and ate whatever was offered. This was no cushy priesthood. It was a gritty, dangerous calling. But danger wasn't just from the elements. Anti-Catholic sentiment was rampant. Nativist groups like the Know Nothing Party burned churches, attacked priests, and spread lies about Catholic immigrants taking over. Neumann faced jeers, threats, and once narrowly escaped a mob in Baltimore. Yet, he pressed on, building trust with every Mass, every baptism. His multilingual skills, preaching in English, German, and Irish, made him a bridge in a divided land. This wasn't just faith. It was a survival story. A true crime of prejudice met with unyielding courage. By 1852, John Neumann's tireless work caught the eye of the Vatican. At 41, he was appointed the 4th Bishop of Philadelphia, a city of promise, but also peril. Philadelphia in the mid-19th century was a melting pot of Irish, German, and Italian immigrants, many Catholic. Yet it was also a battleground. Anti-Catholic riots had destroyed churches, and the city needed a leader. Neumann, small in stature but giant in spirit, accepted the challenge. His mission was monumental. He inherited a diocese with 120 priests, 80 churches, and a growing flock of 200,000 Catholics. But the infrastructure was crumbling. Schools were scarce and many parishes lacked funds. Neumann didn't hesitate. Over the next 8 years, he built 80 new churches, established 100 schools, and created the first Catholic diocesan school system in America. Picture him, frail, often ill, laying cornerstones, raising funds, and teaching children himself. He walked the streets of Philadelphia, visiting the sick, the poor, and the forgotten, often collapsing from exhaustion but rising again. His greatest legacy was education. In an era when public schools excluded Catholic teachings, Neumann insisted on faith-based learning. He wrote a catechism in English, the first of its kind, ensuring immigrant children understood their faith. By 1860, his system educated over 9,000 students, laying a foundation that still supports Catholic schools today. As someone who studied in a minor seminary, I can tell you the power of that education. It shaped souls, and Neumann knew it. But this wasn't a fairy tale. The burden was crushing. Rival priests envy this rapid rise. Some spread false rumors, accusing him of mismanagement or favoritism, hoping to undermine him. The Vatican even launched an investigation, though it cleared him. This was a true crime within the Church, a betrayal by those he served. Letters from the time reveal his anguish. I am alone with no one to help me. His health deteriorated. Tuberculosis ravaged his lungs, and his hands trembled from overwork. Yet, he forgave his detractors, mirroring the compassion Pope Leo XIV now champions for the marginalized. Neumann's days were a marathon. He rose at 4 a.m. for prayer, worked until midnight, and traveled tirelessly. He introduced the 40 hours devotion, a continuous prayer tradition still practiced, and organized parish missions to revive faith. His small frame belied a giant heart, but the strain was evident. In 1854, he traveled to Rome for the definition of the Immaculate Conception, a highlight of his life. Yet he returned weaker than ever. This wasn't just leadership. It was a martyrdom of effort, a silent battle against both external foes and internal exhaustion. January 5, 1860, dawned cold in Philadelphia. John Neumann, now 48, stepped out to visit a church. As he walked down Vine Street, his heart, weakened by years of toil, gave out. He collapsed, dying instantly on the snowy pavement. Witnesses rushed to his side, but it was too late. This wasn't a violent death like some martyrs, but a martyrdom of love, a life poured out for his flock. His body was carried to St. Peter's Church, where it remains incorrupt to this day, a silent witness to his sanctity. The city mourned. Thousands lined the streets for his funeral, a testament to the immigrant bishop who became their shepherd. But his story didn't end there. In 1921, his cause for canonization began, driven by miracles attributed to his intercession, healings that defied medical explanation. On June 19, 1977, Pope Paul VI declared him a saint, the first American male saint, in a ceremony watched by millions. Philadelphia erupted in pride, and Catholic America gained a new hero. Neumann's legacy is woven into the fabric of the USA. His school system educated generations, shaping Catholic identity in a nation that once rejected his kind. His devotion to immigrants mirrors Pope Leo XIV's focus on the marginalized. Leo XIV, born in Chicago, carries that same spirit of inclusion. Today, over 100 schools bear his name, and his feast day, January 5th, is a celebration of faith's endurance. From a rejected priest to a saint who built Catholic America, Neumann's story is a beacon for our time, especially as we embrace our first American St. John Neumann's life was a saga of faith and resilience, a journey from rejection to sainthood, facing prejudice, betrayal, and exhaustion to build Catholic America. As a Catholic who walked the halls of a seminary, I see in Neumann a reflection of quiet strength, a strength now celebrated with our American Pope. Thank you for watching Unseen Saints. Click here to join the journey, and let's uncover the unseen together.